Cool. So, good morning, everybody. First Tuesday of December. Where has 2023 gone?
No kidding.
Good Lord. It is going so fast. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. First Tuesday, we always just kind of open it up. No specific topic. Really want to leave it up to you guys. If there's anything in particular that you want to talk about or questions that you might have, anything about a particular deal or marketing or obviously a lot going on in the market, all kinds of stuff that we can just throw out for discussion. Just some ideas, get some things going. But if you're new to EXP, I know we have a lot of new people with Freedom Team. Posted that yesterday. I don't know what, like 40, 50 some people new to EXP and Freedom Team. So welcome if you're watching this recording or if you're here with us now. And if you're a guest with us, of course, this is always open every Tuesday. Open to anybody. You guys that are part of EXP, you're welcome to invite people to this. This is not an EXP, presentation of any kind. It's just to help us all get more deals, and we've got more deals. Lane had 2 closings yesterday, and 1 last Friday. That have all three of those came from stuff that I've picked up here. I tell people all the time, I probably wouldn't be here. Just 21 years in the business, like, well, I don't need to come to this. Out of 10 things to do on my Tuesday, this wouldn't be on there. Just being honest, but I'm forced to be here, and I'm so glad because I'm just picking up business. We've probably had 7 or 8 closings this year that have come from things I've picked up from all you guys on these Tuesday mornings. So anyway, it's great to be here. Kathy, you want to open us up? Any thoughts? Or does anybody have anything first of all before we
Yeah,
go
let's
there?
start there.
Yeah, yeah,
I've got a couple of things, but
yeah,
let's see
for
what
sure.
anybody else has on their mind that they want to throw out or talk about. Struggles you're having, successes you're having, what you're doing to have those successes. We just want this to be an open, active mastermind to, collaborate and share ideas and help one another if anybody's struggling. So who wants to start?
Anybody, unmute yourself and throw out something that's going on in your business. Let's just talk about it. Don't be shy.
Well, I'll start off and ask you guys to maybe, I know before we went and hit and record about the interest rates. How much have they come down? Is it kind of a nationwide across the board? And do you guys think it's going to go lower? Because obviously I just bought my house 3.5 months ago and I'd love to refi, but I'd love to get it down to low 6s.
Well, right now, so I actually called in preparation for this because I've been seeing a lot of stuff about the rates the last handful of days. And so I talked to my lender, and right now, this is somebody with decent credit. So I didn't get in, if it's 740 or above. But on FHA, right now, the rate is 6.625. This was of yesterday. The pricing hasn't come out today. On a conventional, we're at 6.875. So, we were pushing 8. We got to 8, a month or maybe 2 months ago. So they've come down quite a lot. I've seen in the Fed is saying that they're going to lower rates over the next 12 months, 4 to 6 times. That doesn't always directly impact interest rates for mortgages, but sometimes it does. But it's not like, hey, when the Fed lowers the rate, automatically interest rates adjust. So a lot of people are confused about that. But yeah, good news. They've been going in the right direction for sure. One of the things that I tell agents all the time is you need to understand how to calculate a payment. There's all kinds of apps out there, quite honestly, that you can plug that into. So I actually just took a $350 scenario and I compared, like, what would the payment be on a 7.5% rate versus the 6.875 that is the conventional loan, and that's $150 a month that your client saves on their home, on their monthly payment. And if you do that, excuse me, that was on the FHA. That's a 6.875. If it's the 6.625 rate on an FHA loan versus the 7.5% rate, that's over $200 a month savings on your client's payment. And our buyers are payment sensitive way more than they are price sensitive. So if you can start having conversations around, you know what, the interest rates have adjusted, you know, the average person doesn't know, like, other than, oh, 6.5% sounds better than 7.5%, obviously, but they don't really know how that translates. So if you can have conversations around, you know, hey, the interest rates have dropped about 1%, you know, and on a $350,000 house, that's about a $200 a month savings. People, it really starts opening up the minds for the conversations with your clients. And that's
And
on
would
a
you say,
$350,000 house. So you take, you know, let me just really quickly calculate here. So if we took just say we're talking loan amount. When I'm talking numbers like that, I'm talking a
yeah,
loan amount. So the principal and interest on a $650,000 loan at 6.625, that's 4162. Okay, 4162. If it was 7.5%, it's 4544. So it's about $400 savings
wow.
on that interest rate differential. And
Yeah.
that's about where we are today. So they dropped, I mean, about
And
1%.
and what would you say the average refi cost is? 4 grand? What would you say the average refi?
I mean, you know, all that gets rolled in. Typically, very few times do buyers come out of out of pocket with that.
Yeah,
But
but
I
you're
would
still paying it.
say, it's probably a little bit more. Let's see, you've got 15, 30, it's probably about five grand
Okay.
if you're not paying any points on
So
there.
it take just over 2 years. So if you're going to stay at the house for at least 3 years, it makes sense. You get your money back in about 25 months,
Yeah.
approximately.
And
Okay.
I do that with clients. So let's talk about that just for a second. So I will do that with a client. I will work with them on their payment. So they might say, hey, Kathy, today my rate 7%, 7.5. This is what I'm paying, principal and interest. I'm like, okay, well, if you refinance it and we get it down, I'm just going to make up a number here, 6%, you're saving $200 a month. Right. And now
Yeah.
it's going to cost you 5 grand to refi. Then just divide that. So if it's 5 grand and you're saving
25
200
months.
a month,
26.
that's 25 months to break even.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, a little over 2 years, you break even. So you're going to pay 5 grand. And if you think you're going to be there more than 2.1 months, everything beyond that 2.1 months is really where you're gaining your $200 a month savings.
And you said you read some articles talking about the interest rate may drop several more times over the next year.
That's what they say, you know, but like I said, to start with, the Fed rate dropping doesn't always impact mortgage rates.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
It'll impact, you know, like our credit card rates, things like that.
Well, the interest rates, nothing you can tell prospective buyers or people who are thinking about buying is that the interest rates have come down 5 weeks in a row
Yep.
so far.
Yep.
This will be the 6th week if they come down again this week.
Yeah. Yep. And, you know, to that point, I just think, I mean, obviously negative news sells. So that's what all the news is about, right? It's negative news, negative headlines. A lot of times people don't read they don't read the article. They just see the headlines. And that's where we as professionals, we've got to step up and we've got to give the right news and the good news. And we've got to make sure that our clients are educated and they're not just reading the headlines, which is going to always be negative. And so, you know, to Steven's point, it's like, hey, they've come down 5 weeks in a row. It's looking like even 6 weeks in a row. And, you know, if we want to take it into a deeper conversation, like I just threw out, like what that would mean for you, Miss Client, you know, if you have a house, either you want to refinance or you're looking to maybe move, this is how it impacts your payment. So we as the professionals, we need to be out there having those conversations and educating, and quite honestly, doing our social media posts, you know, all those things that are the positive spin and the factual spin, not the negative news headline.
Yeah. One of the things I saw, it was last week, whatever, November, like there were about 8% more homes listed in November than a year ago, November. You know, which is interesting. I mean, things are, I don't know. It's still it's a great time to do any of this stuff. It's a great time for sellers right now. You know, I mean, and again, I think Kathy, to what you're saying, and we talk about this all the time. We talked about this a lot on these masterminds, on these Tuesday masterminds, in terms of just getting the right information out to people.
Yep.
You know, because if they're just watching the news and all this kind of stuff, it's like, of course, yeah, hunker down, you know,
Yep.
whatever.
Mhm.
But it's you know, yeah, it's still a great time to do stuff.
Yep.
Buyers are going to be competing with less buyers. You're going to be, you know, I've been saying, we've been telling our buyers that our prospective buyers that a lot the last couple of months. It's like, you know, you can go now and okay, you maybe pay a little bit higher on the interest rate right now, you know, but here's a $500,000 house. You can probably get it for, you know, 475 with some closing costs thrown in and that kind of stuff, whatever, versus waiting until the rates drop another down to six, or, you know, whatever, low sixes, whatever. And now all of a sudden here comes the pent up demand that's being built right now, the flood of buyers. I believe that's going to hit the market. All of a sudden that $500,000 house, you're not getting it for 475. Now you're competing with multiple offers again, you
Yeah.
know, and you're getting it at 525 or 530, and they're not paying any closing costs. I mean, it's just, so it's kind of like, you know, but
Yeah.
helping buyers to understand some of that, you know.
How is the, you know, you're in Colorado Springs, Jeff, Kathy, you're in Nashville. How is the inventory, in
It's
you
low.
guys' areas? Same with you, Tim. Just, how's the inventory compared to year and a half ago?
Yeah, it's low.
Still
Yeah,
way
it's
down?
definitely down some.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're down to, I don't, Steve, I don't know if you've looked at it lately. Carruthers, he's here in Colorado Springs. I want to say we were like at, somebody, I saw a post last week. I think somebody said like we're at 1,300 homes or something on the market, like total. I don't know,
That's
And,
about right.
somewhere
That's
right
about
in
right.
there, which
But
is
and
really
the
low for
market
us.
was, and what was it?
I've got two buyers I can't find houses for.
Yeah.
I mean, they're ready to go. One's cash. One is a young guy, just got married, but his dad's going to help him with down payment and whatever. I mean, he can buy, uh, but I can't find anything.
And what would have, Steve, what would a normal be if you go back a few years? Would it have been double that, 2,600 homes? What would kind of be the adjustment?
Yeah, yeah,
About double that, maybe?
maybe even more.
I think even more, really. I mean,
Yeah.
probably, yeah. It seems like in the past we've always had, like, with more of well, a little bit more of a balanced market, or even leaning more towards a buyer's market. We would see 3,000, 3,500 homes in the market at any given time, even more
Right.
than that sometimes, you know, whatever. So it's definitely way down right now. So
Now, during the pandemic, we got down to less than 1,000. To give a little more
yeah,
perspective on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely more now than there was, but still, it's really really tight. There's just not that many sellers, not much inventory.
Well, and I don't think it's going to get better. You know, I was on a mastermind call right before this, a different mastermind call, and Jay, he was talking about, he follows this Harvard News, Harvard, I don't know if it's Harvard Real Estate, but he was talking about, you know, since 1990, I think it was, there's been about 1 million houses a year being built in America. And the last year or so, and I think Mickey, you were on there, so if I say this incorrectly, you can correct me. But the last year or two, the building is down to about 800,000. So builders are building less homes. So the conversation earlier was around, you know, it's going to be even harder in a couple of years or so for buyers to be buying houses, because there's not going to be as much inventory, because builders aren't building like they have for the last 30 years.
And do
They're
you think
still
that's just,
building, you know, but they're down, you know, we're down 10% or so in, or wait, that's 20%. We're down 20% in the building and the amount of homes coming into the market as new construction.
and do you think that's just because the cost of all the goods and materials have gone up, or
I
what?
think that's part of it. So we had a lot of discussion around that as well. You know, the cost has obviously really gone up. You know, was a lot of discussions as well about, you know, really locals being outpriced. I mean, I feel like in Nashville, we're getting there already, right? You know, where the Nashville buyer or the Nashville homeowner is already getting a little bit outpriced for the market, right? Especially if you're a first-time home buyer. So that's where we as realtors, we've got to come up with creative ways to be able to talk to our clients about how to get them into a house, and why now is the time and not to wait.
Labor, Sean, I was building few houses, and labor and materials. You cannot find qualified, labor
Yeah,
in building. That's the biggest problem that I
Yeah.
see in Bowling Green.
yep,
And cannot find the materials to build? Is that what
No,
you
no,
just
no. But material is okay, but it's very expensive.
yeah,
Very expensive, way more than you paid before. But labor is now taking, cost of building. I would build myself, but driveway, for example, before I paid 8, 10,000, now it's 25, 30,000, and
So, so
it's
the
very expensive.
demand, so you're saying the costs are too high for demand of new construction
Yes, because that's
compared to
why.
trying to buy somebody who's trying to sell an already owned home?
Yeah,
That's-
that's what Katie said, that it dropped from 1 million, new homes built to 80,000, I think that's a lot of my friends, they are just on hold. Like, let's see what's going to happen with materials and labor. Labor is
Yeah.
I think, the biggest problem
Yeah.
in building new construction.
yeah, I agree. I mean, and to get good, decent labor period, but then, trying to get decent labor is another level.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, qualified. That's what I said. You hire somebody, and then you have to pay somebody to go after, to repair it. And
Yeah, yeah.
Real
So,
quick.
but
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Jeff.
Kathy. No, go ahead.
No, I just gonna say, but see, that's why we need to have these discussions about how to, because that's some pieces of the reality of things. But then as professionals, we need to paint, the good side of the picture too, because I hear all the negative stuff out there. But we need to be able to have those conversations with our clients about like why now is the time to buy, like interest rates are dropping. Right. So we need to be able to have those conversations, those educated conversations with our people. Go ahead, Jeff.
One thing I was going to share, and again, not to I talk about this a lot because I just like what they do. It's just to hit this. So every Monday, some of you guys subscribe to Keeping Current Matters. I just want to put this out there. Every Monday they do this thing called a deep dive. I downloaded these slides yesterday. This was the deep dive for yesterday. Here's a 13-minute presentation they did on basically helping buyers, first time home buyers and stuff, talking about down payments, what it all means, get, sources of down payment right here. I downloaded the slides right here because I want to just take this. I'm going to just probably do a, 8 to 10 minute video myself and just put this out there with these slides, edit it down to what I want to talk about. But that's something I'm going to do and something we'll have, and we'll send it out to our database of, especially first time buyers or prospects that have come into, our KV core and that kind of stuff. And just here's an 8-minute video of just, that will give them information. And again, it's helping them to get good info, but there's just a lot of good stuff here. So just a reminder that that's there. I get nothing for endorsing Keeping Current Matters. I've been doing it for about a year now, and I do like what they do. But this comes out every Monday with just good info. Home buyers assistance programs, all kinds of stuff. So just something maybe to keep in mind, something you could put together and get out to people or have some info, and just keep those slides on a tablet or something. You're meeting some people and open up and just hit the 1-2 slides that you need to talk about with that. But some good things.
It is a good resource.
What program was
what
that?
is it?
What
I'm sorry?
program was
What
that?
matters?
It's Keeping Current Matters. Yeah, I just
Keeping
subscribe
Current
to them. It's $50 a month, whatever it is. But
I was gonna say 39. I think.
Jeff, if I, because I have it and I post about 1 or 2 of those a week, if I didn't download it yesterday, can I still go back and download that?
oh yeah, it's in there. If you just go on the site, you can download everyone they've ever done.
Okay.
And every week it's kind of up to the minute, or it's kind of up to date things that they talk about every week. But that was I noticed that one yesterday because again, talking with buyers and again trying to get them the right info and educate them, right now on what's going on with the market and different ways that they can come up. It came out today. I just saw this in the news. I haven't read the article, but it came like something like, I don't know, is it 60-80% of home buyers, first time home buyers, think that the only way they're going to be able to buy a home right now is by getting a gift of some sort. Prices are just too far out for them to even consider it. And it all starts with that first time home buyer. If you can't sell that first time home buyer home, then those people can't move up to their second home. And then those people can't move up to what their retirement home. It's just the domino effect of stopping that first time buyer can play such havoc on the rest of the industry, and like, here's where first time home buyers are thinking right now, whatever. And that might be the case, but there's lots of ways to come up with the money. And a lot of times they don't need as much money as they think.
Yeah.
And all that is spelled out in that PowerPoint. I mean, when I saw the article this morning, I immediately thought, like, I downloaded those slides yesterday. Like, I need to put that together today or tomorrow. And it actually gives you a script in there. You can watch their presentation on it and just duplicate it if you want to. I mean, you can do whatever you want with that or not do it at all. But it's something I'm going to work on in the next day or two to get out mainly to our database. But I'll probably post it on my YouTube channel and that kind of stuff as well. So just a quick.
Well, and that's where we can just be the educators,
Right.
and I mean, even talking about, the payments are one thing, but a lot of first time home buyers, they think they've got to have 20% down. They don't even know. They don't realize there's these first time home buyer programs that can get them in for literally no money, right? Obviously they got to qualify for the payment, but there's all these programs that are available. And real quick, going on that KCM, I noticed, so they do a lot of webinars and a lot of training. On this coming Tuesday, they're having a training. So if you subscribe to it, they're having a training about I think it was the 3 top things to talk about, with the market, with your clients and sitting around the Christmas table, right? You're with family that sometimes you don't see but once a year. And what do they always ask? What does everybody ask that you haven't talked to in a while? How's the market? Right?
Yeah.
How's the market? And so KCM is Keeping Current Matters. They're doing a webinar on Tuesday about points to specifically talk about when those questions come up.
It's good
So
stuff.
it's a good tool. It's a good tool.
It's a good tool. Things to
yeah.
post.
Like Jeff
One other
said.
thing, when next Monday they're talking about expireds and FSBOs going into 2024. Tim, would you mind, and not to put you on the spot at all, and you don't have to go into a big thing. This might be even a topic that we could even do with you, possibly next, sometime here in the first quarter. You said you have I know when we were in Dallas last week, you mentioned that you've done a training with your agents before back in the day had a whole system for expireds. Can you touch on that just briefly? You don't have to go into a whole training right now, but it's not something we've seen in the last couple of years, but we're starting to see it. Like for the first time in a long time, we're starting to see homes that are coming up that way, expired listings. Any thoughts that you have on that you want to share?
Yeah, I agree. Everything I did from 1/1/2008 until 12/31/19, basically end of 2019, you stop seeing expireds. You stop seeing FSBOs not be sold by an agent who was just asking for 3%. So this entire campaign I did, I stopped because I couldn't market to anybody because they weren't out there. But basically the program is a direct mail program. It's an 8-letter sequence every single day. I had my assistant get the hot sheet of expireds from the night before, and I mailed a letter titled, "I'll sell your house in 39 days or I'll sell it for free." Now, remember the market, that wouldn't be as attractive right now. I mean, I could probably say I'll sell it in 10 days or sell it for free. Something like that, whatever you're comfortable doing. You're not going to sell many houses for free. That letter's getting you in the door. But basically, that was a mail system. I followed it up with 7 more letters every Friday for a total of 7.5 weeks, roughly. Because I mailed the expired on a Tuesday or whatever day expired, and then immediately hit them again on Friday. So every Saturday they were getting mail. I did that for all the expireds, and then I had an entirely separate 8-letter campaign that I did for FSBOs. And it fed me. I mean, 70% of my listing inventory was expireds and FSBOs every single year. And I grew my business every single year during the last recession because of that, and because of some additional focus on REO properties and foreclosures and short sales. But it's a program that works. And, if you listen to all the coaches, they say, direct mail still works. So in fact, I'm talking to my team about, starting that series up again. I'm just trying to get somebody to buy off on it and, do the letters every morning. And the essence behind it is you find the expired, then you go to the tax records and you find the address of the seller, because the seller, it could be an absentee owner selling a rental property. So I always double check it with the tax record, so you're not just mailing to the tenant if that's the case. And it's about doing the same thing every single day. It's like everything else we teach and everything we do, it's consistency, and it works. And I'd be happy to do a training on it at some point. In fact, I was planning on videoing a training and throwing it out on my agent attraction YouTube channel just to pour into agents that may not know how to do that, and, how to fish in different waters.
Sure.
So question on that, Tim. So you said you did that every day, but you said you mailed it every Friday. So
No. Every day I mailed the expireds from last night, and every Friday I mailed
Gotcha.
everybody in my entire database that hasn't gotten the second letter yet, and then the third
Gotcha.
letter, then the fourth, every Friday.
Okay, gotcha.
So
makes sense.
the first week they actually got 2 letters.
Yeah.
Whatever day it expired, the next day, and then whatever Friday. And then the other thing in that process, if you're thinking about this, after I pulled down all the expireds from the hot sheet, I then went to all the new actives and I searched the address in the new actives to make sure that they didn't
Mhm.
immediately relist with another agent, because that's costing me postage, and then I'm marketing to somebody that's under contract with another agent, even though all my letters say, please disregard this if you're blah blah blah. I can't remember what it said exactly, but that's how it works. Did that answer your question, Jeff?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about that for this next, sometime January, February, because I do think we're going to see more and more of that
Yep.
as we go into the new year and stuff.
Mhm.
Be interesting to see, what they say next Monday. They're doing again, the deep dive next Monday is on expireds and FSBOs. So
With KCM, you're saying?
with KCM, yeah. So it just might be
Okay.
even for you, Tim. I know you subscribe to it. Might be good just to
Mhm.
see what they put out on it. Here's a 10, 15-minute video.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
definitely ways to get business. One question I would have, I don't know if you guys, and just to put it out there, we did 2 trainings. Aaron Ken did his 2-part series on his Google business page. Lane's actually getting ready. My wife is getting ready right now to leave the house to go to a listing appointment from basically somebody called yesterday, and it was pretty much a come list me kind of thing. It's a divorce situation. And they're like, whatever, they found us on Google. They found us on our Google business page. And it's just from that stuff that I learned on those 2 masterminds that Aaron did,
That's
and
awesome.
just implementing that. So yeah, I mean, I don't even think we're competing against anybody. She's just going down there to look at the house, meet with them, and she's taking a sign with her and everything because they're ready to get the house on the market like today, So anyway, if you haven't watched those and haven't put that into play, it takes me about a minute a day, literally, on my Google page, and it's working. We're getting calls. So anyway, little plug for past trainings. You can find them all on the Freedom Team YouTube channel, or they're all in our workplace group as well. So.
On that note, Aaron's training that you're talking about, or that Jeff's talking about, everybody, I took part of Aaron's training and cut it up and put my own spin on part of it and posted it out on my YouTube channel. And currently it is my most watched video. So it's something, those of you that are also doing some agent attraction, that's a great thing to teach other agents how to do by providing them that.
For sure.
So YouTube's been mentioned a couple of times. Who's doing YouTube here?
Need to do it again. Get at it.
So everybody else, is anybody else on here doing YouTube? And if so, what kind of success are you having? So I was talking to, again, on that earlier mastermind, there was a guy who's been a realtor for 3 months. He started doing his YouTube stuff. He's here in Nashville. He started doing his YouTube stuff, and he's got his first client under contract in 3 months. Brand new realtor.
Well, it was amazing down there in Dallas. I mean, again, Tim and Kathy, myself, a couple other people were down in Dallas this last week for a couple days, working with Mike Reese with some funnel stuff and some training down there. But Andy Hollis, it was amazing talking to him.
Yeah.
And what he's been able to do. Can you share, Tim, just real quick,
Yeah.
just tell a little bit about what he's done with that? And not that people need to go to that length, but even to get something going.
Yeah.
On YouTube. I mean, if there's only 3 of us on here that are really doing that, I mean, it's just, you're missing the boat if you're not getting something going with YouTube, because it's where everything's going. Everything is going video.
I mean,
Google
it's the
searches
number
are going to
one
video.
search engine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bigger search engine than Google. Right.
But
Or
Andy,
right
talking to
away.
Andy that night, I mean, we're sitting there having dinner that first night there, and he got a call from that one guy. It's like, it's a $1.2 million cash buyer who basically said, I've watched you on YouTube. I feel like you and I could be drinking buddies.
Mhm.
I'm ready to buy a house. Like, I mean, let's go look at homes. I mean, it's just like, he feels like he knows Andy from watching his videos. And he's just like, coming in. I'm ready to go. It's a $1.2 million buyer, you know,
Yeah.
that it took about 4 or 5 months, I think, Tim, is that right, before he really started to see traction with it. But it's that consistency of doing it. And I'm telling you now, he's going to have a monster year in 2024 because of his YouTube channel.
He's got
Huge.
$5 million in closings for January, he said.
That's huge.
Five
That's huge.
million in volume.
Who is
Andy
that?
Hollis. Andy Hollis is his name. Hollis. Tim, you want to share a little bit about him and how
Yeah.
that got going, and just it might inspire some people on here to get some YouTube stuff happening. You know.
Well, and I'll plug Levi Lassik's program. I'm not endorsing it or saying you should go out and buy it because it's one of the more expensive ones. But go out and start doing video. I mean, that I told Aileen, I said, get on Levi's webinar, and I really think you should buy this program, because I got on the webinar, and Jeff and Kathy and several of us were doing a bunch of Nick Krim stuff, and I was blowing up my website and starting to just change a whole lot of things. So I didn't do it, but I felt strongly enough in it. I went to my key leaders at EXP and said, you all need to do this. It's going to be huge. Well, Aileen did it, and Andy is partnered with Aileen on this channel, and basically they've implemented everything that Levi Lastik does. And if you don't know Levi, go to YouTube and search Living in Dallas. That is his channel. He's very dominant. Levi's story is he was a brand new realtor. He did 2 months of research, started his YouTube channel. The third month, he started getting subscribers. It wasn't until month 5, I think, that he had a closing. And month 6, he had 2 closings. And long story short, 12 months in, he did $1.1 million in GCI. So Andy duplicated verbatim everything that Levi told him to do and did on his own channel. And Andy's experience, you're right, Jeff, it was 4 or 5 months in, the phone started ringing. He closed his first deal, 2 deals the second month, 3 or 4 deals the third month. And now he's getting 5, 6, 8 calls a week from the channel, and he's got over 1,000 subscribers. So he's in the sub club that YouTube calls it. So he's starting to monetize his channel, meaning YouTube's now paying him to run ads during his videos, and we only allow them to do it as a preceding and a trailer, not during the video, because it takes their eye off what we really want them there. But huge success. And Kathy said it, he's got $5 million. In fact, one of the reasons I was a few minutes delayed getting my camera on is I was preparing for a meeting with Andy and Aileen this afternoon. We're doing a 2.5-hour mastermind specifically on YouTube channel and funnel. So hugely successful. Andy's channel on YouTube is Orange Beach Living, if you want to check it out. And Andy's a good old boy. Just a bowl full of jelly, somebody you just want to give a big hug to. And that's his personality, how it comes across. And you've seen Aileen, she's done trainings for us before on Tuesdays. I mean, she's a little Southern belle, and they've done huge things together. So much so they had to add a buyer's agent to their team because just for the YouTube leads.
So if I could add a couple of things to that, Andy, which I thought was interesting, that when we were talking while we were all in Dallas, he was ready to quit the business. A year ago, he was out. And it was because he learned, Aileen told him to go to, and Tim told him to go look up the Levi, do this training, plug in. That has just, now he's like excited as anything about the business, about what he's been able to build on YouTube. He's just excited about it. But the other thing that I think is important to mention is, as Tim said, he didn't have the first call for 4 months. He didn't have one call.
Think about maybe the Orange Beach thing, or Gulf Shores or the surrounding areas. Well, today we are going to talk about beaching on a budget. Talk about
push pause, Paul.
I think you're listening and you got your mic on. I was like, there's voices here going on.
Wait, Andy, it's the ghost of Andy.
Oh, it's the ghost of Andy. He's here. But he didn't have a call. He did not have one call for 4 months. But he kept going. He kept going. And he got the call 4 months in, first call. And now you're hearing the success he's had ever since that. And so my point to saying that is, to what Tim started this whole call with, it's about consistency. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're doing YouTube. It doesn't matter if you're going to do Tim's Expireds. It doesn't matter if you're doing farming. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Pick something and just stick to it because it all works. It's what resonates with you, but you can't give up after 1, 2, 3 months of like not seeing no results. It's the time and the consistency, that compound effect, that where it will start paying out for you.
Yeah. I mean, 5 million in closings in January. I mean, that's,
Pretty sweet.
that's probably 130 to 150,000 in commission. That's a nice way to start the year. That's a good problem
And
to
I'll
have.
add on to that too. Andy's market is a second home market.
Yeah.
Gulf Shores in Orange Beach, Alabama. He's selling mostly condos on the beach. And I would wager that if he were in Louisville, Kentucky, or Nashville, Tennessee, or Colorado Springs doing the exact same thing, he would have had even greater success sooner, because the second home market is just what it says. Not everybody can afford a second home. It's a smaller piece of the market. So
Yeah.
granted, on the $5 million side, his average sales price is about $750. So his prices are a little higher than most of our average prices, but hugely successful.
One thing that was really cool talking to him about, like he shared, like, with what he's learned and what he's grown to do with this, he could pick up and move anywhere.
Yeah.
He could go drop him off in Cleveland, Ohio, and he could start the way he started down there. Here's my favorite 5 cheeseburgers in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, when I first saw his first few videos, I'm like, what's he doing? Like, I was like, I don't get it. I didn't get it. This was back in August, I think, of 22 that he started. I remember seeing some, like, I didn't get it, but now I get it. It's like again, build. He'll go. He said he would do this. He said, like, he would go, like, set up a showing on a house and then ask that, go in and video the whole thing. And then he'd video around outside the neighborhood, like, kind of, here's what it looks like around. He'd video how far it is to, he'd say some things about, here's how far it is to the closest school. Here's how far it is to the, here's how close it is to the nearest Starbucks, whatever, just different things around that neighborhood, which Zillow doesn't show you. None of that stuff shows you. And then he would call that agent, hey, I did a video. Are you okay if I put it on, on my channel? And, I'm going to give you the credit for it. It's your listing. And he's never had somebody tell him no. Whatever. So he'll post these videos. You could do that in any place, anywhere, and start building that up. And then just start building up. Here's my favorite this. Here's my top 5 favorite margaritas. And what, wherever he's at, start building that channel. Within 3 or 4 months, he'd have, probably a multi-million-dollar business, over a period.
Quick
you
question.
can do that anyway. Yeah.
So you're saying this guy goes in and looks at other brokers' listings and then promotes those? I didn't think that we were allowed to do that at EXP.
Yeah, you can do it. We're EXP, we're one company, so they're our listings if he calls an EXP agent. But if he's calling a Coldwell Banker agent,
okay,
then he gets their permission.
Yeah.
And he may or may not even have to check your local rules of your MLS and your state law to be sure. But and one thing as a follow-up, I want to say on what Jeff said is exactly right. But when you're doing a tour of a house, you want to talk about, and this is what 625,000 can buy you in Crestwood, Kentucky. And this is proximity to schools and places of worship and grocery stores, et cetera. You don't want to promote the house per se, because you want your video to be evergreen. In a month or 2, that house is gone. It's off the market. You don't want to be bringing people to your channel to look at 123 Main Street and it's sold. So the video, while the tour is important, because you got to think in these videos, you're pouring into your prospects. You're giving them value about what the dollar buys in certain areas of town. And today I'm in XYZ subdivision in Crestwood, Kentucky, and I'm walking through a house that's on the market. It's probably not going to be on the market by the time you see this video. Say things like that. And then that video is evergreen, meaning it'll last forever. The whole purpose in video, you'll spend 30 minutes doing a video and editing it, and you'll post it to YouTube. That 30 minutes will come back to you after it's been seen 10,000 times over the years. What a return. What a return on time. I mean, you're touching thousands of viewers, and that evergreen video will do that. If you post about, oh, it's Christmas time and I'm in LaGrange, Kentucky, and look how pretty this, that's going to be an evergreen video, but it's going to be a seasonal evergreen video. It's only going to be popular during the holiday seasons each year. I want my videos to be popular 365 days a year. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So Levi has a book, Passive Prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
You can do his course, you can read the book, but he does talk, I think, about and I haven't read the book yet, Tim. I think he talks in there, he goes into like
You
SEO.
need to do that this
I need to
weekend, brother. You're
I
going to love that book.
yeah. No,
Well,
100,
and Tim, you
100%.
said like I download on Audible. It's a 3.5 hour listen on Audible. So yeah, I've got it sitting on my table in
Let me
there.
turn my
Yeah, but I'm getting ready to start listening to it on Audible. And then Tim, you want to tell him about, because you sat through this. So I reached out to him after we got back from Dallas. So he has a 12-hour class that he teaches around that book, and he's going to be doing it in January. And it's $97. I think is going to be the price. I think that's what it was in the past. I think Tim you said, but he's going to do it in January. And so look for that, because he's going to be promoting that. I don't have the dates on it. Well, let me see if he messaged me the actual dates. But anyway, so Tim's gone through that through that 12 hours, and he's obviously read the book. So
twice.
read the book twice, did the 97, did the 12 hours. Yep. So
Yeah.
Listened to it and read it. Yeah.
I listened to it once in 3.5 hours, and then I read it. It took me about 5 hours to read it because I'm highlighting, marking things up, putting Post-it notes everywhere. But I mean, it's really starting to sink in, and I'll read it again. And Jeff, I'm dead serious, brother.
Yeah.
This weekend, you need to consume that book, because
Yeah.
there's a lot you're going to get out of it. I know I have, and
100%.
things you and I have talked about and questioned in our mind are addressed in that book. So
So
For
a lot of
sure.
value.
Tracy
But we're
Wiggins
not here to
said he
promote
was
Levi.
Yeah.
Tracy said he was their speaker at the Georgia rally. I've forgotten that. So Tracy, can talk about that for a minute. What did you pick up? Like, he was down there and he was y'all's trainer in Georgia. So what did you learn from him, or what it may be different than what we're talking about?
Pretty much the same thing you guys are talking about. I was the DJ, so it was kind of hard to maneuver and stuff, but I really enjoyed him talking about the prospecting, the passive prospecting. I didn't get the book, but I'm going to get it now. And I can't remember a lot, to be honest with you, but he was good. I remember him really sparking a light under me, sparking a fire rather under me that day, but it was really good. It was really good. I'm going to get the book so I can kind of recollect, but he was great.
Good.
I put the link in there just if anybody wants, you can see the book on Amazon. There's a link there in the chat just so you can see it. It'll take you to it. But and again, like Tim said, not to promote Levi, but he is doing some big things. He started out as a brand new agent and started out going down a LinkedIn road, and then shifted over going into, with YouTube, and just exploded it. And so, but no, you're right, too. I need to read. I've had the book on my Kindle for 6 months. I just said, but here coming out of this weekend, I'm like, man, I've got to. And you're right. I just need to get in there and just devour it. I'm going to order. I might just order the actual book so I can do what you did, highlight it, and make notes.
I'd recommend that. I mean,
yeah,
for sure.
Didn't he? So he's a new realtor in 2020. He came out of financial services, and didn't he say, like, was it last year or this year? He sold. He and his team. Now he's got a big team. Has sold over 200 homes.
Yeah, I don't remember the quantity of homes, but the chronology is he spent October and November of 2020 researching YouTube, learning everything he could about it. He spent December of 2020 recording all of his first videos, and in January he started posting them. And by April, the phone started ringing. He started showing property, and he had his first closing. 1.1 million in GCI in his first year. His second year, he did over 3 million in GCI.
Does he post or explain the cadence in which he rolled those, those out? Okay.
Yes.
Tracy said he had his numbers down. Has a whole team and has his numbers down. Well, I think we've beat the YouTube horse. So if that hasn't inspired you guys to get the book and to read it and to get on YouTube, I don't know what might.
I just ordered the paperback right now. It'll be here Thursday. So there you go.
Good.
Okay.
There's my weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
Call me Sunday night and give me a book report.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing.
I just said there's things in there to pick up on for sure. How much you implement or whatever. But again, Andy's starting that August 2022.
Yeah.
And here he is, a year later that he's just exploded it. I mean, it's a great testimony to what it can do.
Yeah.
you know, to any degree. I mean, you can go that far with it. You can go to whatever level you want. Obviously, things to pick up there. So,
Mhm.
I
who
think
else?
he's
Anybody
6
else have
million
some?
in
What's that? I'm sorry.
he's 6 million. Andy's 6 million in closed business so far and has 5 million pending. So he's going to have 11 million inside of about 15 to 18
Yeah.
months.
That's
I don't know
amazing.
exactly what his start date was, but
Straight from
it's
that
huge.
channel.
Really?
And I
I mean, it
personally
took-
believe if you're not doing video in a year or two, you're going to be left behind.
I
I
agree.
really believe that.
Yeah.
Remember, YouTube is not social media. It's actually, Kathy, the second largest search site. Google's number one. YouTube is number two. People don't go to Facebook looking for a realtor. They go to YouTube or they go to Google, and Google promotes the YouTube videos because people go and say, I'm looking, picture the relocating client. I don't know anything about Louisville, Kentucky. So what do they do? Living in Louisville, best places to eat. Louisville real estate, keying in those terms. It's search engines that's finding those videos on YouTube and on Google, which goes back to the earlier conversation about the Google business page. This all is going to tie together, guys. Google business page, YouTube. That's where it's going to be. And I've started 2 channels, one for attraction and one for sales, and I'm still building. I'm probably 6 months in, but I'm spread too thin, and I've actually gotten my team members involved in shooting videos too. In fact, we spent about 2 hours yesterday on video flow, the hook, the anchor music, the call to action, the actual video content, and then the closing, and and then social proofs in the middle there too. So there is, back to your cadence question there, Paul, there's a very specific thing to follow, and that's in chapter 11, if you want to start right there, if I remember right.
Well, and
Yeah.
Tracy said she had a mentee that did videos for 3 years and didn't get any traction on that. But that's where his book will teach you, because it's not just about doing the videos. You got to know how to, what's the word I'm looking for? You got to know how to,
Taglines and SEO optimization.
SEO, like I just went blank. You got to know how to optimize it for SEO and the taglines. All that is so critical. It's not about just throwing video out there. So that's why it's important to learn a system. Obviously,
that's all in
Levi's
Levi's-
mastered it.
And that's all in Levi's book.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And he's never spent a nickel on leads. This is all organic stuff. And think about it this way. Think of a show that you absolutely love. You've identified with one character, kind of made them yourself. You're in that show as that person. They're your hero. Jeff, you know this from the movie days. So you're identifying with that person. YouTube's doing the same thing. They see your videos over and over and over and over, and you're educating them the entire way. You're never selling yourself. You're never saying, I'm a realtor, come buy with me. You're saying, I'm a realtor, and here's the value I'm giving you today, kind of is the mantra. But that person ultimately calls, or they call, email, text, or schedule in Andy's calendar and say, I'm ready. So all these people, when they come to you, they're ready to do business. It's kind of like a sales funnel, same thing. So you're not prospecting. Your prospecting is all the education you're giving your consumer prospect until they're ready, and then they call you and say, I'm ready. What do I need to do?
I believe you're.
And then they're shocked. And then they're shocked. Sorry, 1 second, Paul. Then they're shocked to know that they actually get to talk to the movie star in their perception. Oh my gosh, is this really Andy? Yeah, who'd you think you'd get? Is what he says. So
You're a celebrity.
Yeah. Paul, I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, I was just saying, that's the name of his gig, passive prospecting. You are prospecting, but you're just kind of doing it on the down low. You're just, you're getting inside their head. I like that.
When I think about this, when you say it's all organic leads, I mean, how much are we going to spend next year on leads? A lot of us. I mean, hundreds, thousands of dollars, some of us, whatever, which is fine. I've done it for years. I'll still do some of it. But the more you can get like this, like the thing I love about Google is it's not costing me anything, and it's working. So let me keep ramping that up, whatever. Like that's just a good return on my money, but something like this, maybe I'll put a couple $1,000s into really truly learning this, and an editing system or hiring somebody to do the videos, that kind of stuff, whatever. But again, if it's all organic leads, it's like, I'd much rather get leads that way. Whether they're just saying like, I'm ready to work with you, pretty much is what they're doing, whatever, versus, here's 100, internet leads. I gotta, I'm going to get 4 or 5 over the next year. I mean, whatever, and it's cost me this much. I mean, they're all leads, but there's just different ways there's better leads, you know? I think these are great leads that would come in from the YouTube channel. So I don't know.
Absolutely. And I'm going to, those of you that are interested in this, I'm going to take it one step further and then we can move on. But everybody should go read the book. In the future, Jeff, Kathy, Sabby has agreed to do a training for us on a Tuesday. We could probably get Levi to do a training for us on a Tuesday. And I'm going to leave you with this. This is not cheap if you hire it out, but you don't have to hire it out. Right. Levi's deal after you go through his course is $24,000 for the year for him to teach you everything and put all your videos out there. He'll do 54 videos for you in a year. 24,000. Sabby has a program that's about 14 to 17,000 for very similar services, but he's not going to teach you anything. He's just cutting and editing and splicing and putting all your videos together, throwing them out on all the social media channels. Andy went through the course for $3,000 and does everything himself. All the videos, all the cutting, the editing, the SEO optimization, the tags, everything himself. So you can do this yourself really, really inexpensive. For $97, the training classes for 12 hours on Zoom, or read the book for $15 or whatever you just paid for it, Jeff. You know, you can do it as a self-taught. The curriculum that I've been through, the book and the training was that good that I could do it myself. I don't want to do that. I'm not a video editor, nor do I want to be. But Andy got into it and never spent a nickel beyond the course itself.
He loves doing it. I mean, just talking to him, he's just having a great time doing it. So he'll go shoot his videos with his iPhone. That's all he uses. He did buy a mic, you know, for the sound. That was one big thing he mentioned. You know, people will watch the video if it's bad video. They will tune it out and shut it off if it's bad audio. Yeah. So he did spend $100, couple $100 on a really good, you know, microphone where he could be out in the wind and that kind of stuff and have good audio. That was one tip that he gave down there. But he just shoots it all on his iPhone and then he comes back and he edits it. He loves doing the editing part. You know, I don't see myself doing that. Tim, you're not going to do that, whatever. I'd probably hire that out, but you could, if you wanted to, just learn it and do what he did. And it's just a matter of you get a program and you learn how to do that program and you spend a couple hours on working on your video and have fun with it if that's what you want to do. But it's working for him. So.
Well, and when you get to the editing part, there's a lot of VAs that's their specialty. They're video editors, you know, and you can pay them $5 an hour to do video editing, you know, so there's ways around that. But the first step is get the book. Probably I would recommend jumping into the course, like read the book, you know, over the next week, as Tim's saying, and then get in his 12-hour course in January that he's going to have.
In person or online?
It's a Zoom.
It's online. Yeah, it's online.
It's 6 hours, 2 days in a row.
Is that pretty much the only marketing he's doing? Is all these YouTube videos, or did he talk about, does he do some other marketing?
That's it. Never spent a nickel on an ad.
That's incredible.
I'm going to tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. One more thing. Those of you that are scared to death of video right now, I was too. Now I absolutely love it. I love to get out there and just get into it. And most of you are probably thinking right now, I got to know what I'm going to say. I got to memorize it. I got to go out and recite it. And when I screw up, I got to start all the way over. BS. Hey, it's Tim Holland, and today we're out here in such and such subdivision, Crestwood. Hey, it's Tim. Just start over. And if you screw up on your third sentence, you just start over on your third sentence, because the video editing process, you're just going to cut out the mistake. And when you see it on film, it's every TV show cuts from this scene to this scene. And so don't think about video in terms of I've got to get perfect. First of all, some screw ups during your video makes it real. It makes you human, and people identify with that. Oh, he's not a scripted salesperson just trying to sell real estate. He's out there. You're talking to a buyer client as you're walking down the street, entering the property. That's the mindset you've got to get in. And when you screw up, just start that sentence over. You don't even have to push stop and re-record. Just keep going. Just start over.
Hey, Tim, I had a friend of mine that was really into video, and she actually knocked out one of her front teeth, and she went ahead and continued doing video, and everybody was cracking up.
Hey, I've got a.
Hopefully, through sympathy, she got some buys.
No kidding.
Go ahead, Steve.
I've got a question. Yeah. I'm trying to specialize in the senior market. How is it easy, or how do you go about doing a special? You could be first time home buyers or whatever.
That's
I'm
a great
senior.
question.
Yeah.
The easy answer, the quick answer is this: find every 55 and older community in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
city and go tour every one of them and say, in this community, these are the amenities. This is
Yeah.
what they offer. They got a pool, they've got activities, they've got yoga, they've got poker night, they, whatever, but tour every one of them and kind of compare and contrast and talk about price ranges, beds and baths along the way. Don't talk about anything specific that's on the market now, unless you're just saying, generally, this is what your money's buying today. But
Yep.
that's a great question. And that is the answer. I just read about this just 2-3 days ago.
And go to the different towns, all around your area. You probably have different 55 and up communities. And then what I would do when I ran out all those communities, taking it a step further, is I would start looking for single family homes that maybe they're not in a 55 and up community because for whatever reason, maybe somebody doesn't want to be in that, because a lot of those are very social, atmospheres. Maybe they don't want to be, but most people are looking for a one level home. And so to what Tim's talking about, go to different neighborhoods, find some one level homes. This is what $300,000 or whatever would be a right number in your market, right? This is what $300,000 is going to buy you here in this area. This is what $450,000 is going to buy you, this type of one level single family home. But then also you need to talk about all the things that we're talking about, like where's the closest grocery stores, where are they want the convenience and the amenities of other things outside of just the neighborhood itself. They want the convenience to get to hospitals and doctors, right? All the things that are important to the 55 and up community, like start highlighting, hey, we're 5 minutes from the closest grocery store. We're only 15 minutes from one of the best hospitals in the area, right? So also along with the house and the communities, talk about those things.
Yeah, I got a suggestion too. There's a program out there called List Reports. Has anybody ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Reports. If you want to gather that information, you can just put the address of the house, like say in the center of that community. It'll give you a whole page that will show you where parks, shopping, everything else, and it'll give you all that information. You don't have to try and find it somewhere.
Yeah.
It pops right up in there, and you can just steal it.
That's great.
What's the name of it again?
List
Reports.
.com.
Yeah, and it works great for open houses, your new listings, everything else. I mean, it's really great. All infographics. So it tells you where local parks are and attractions. So it's really cool.
A lot of lenders send that to us, guys. One more suggestion, Stephen, is when you do your lives and your videos, just say, hey, this is Stephen Carruthers, your senior home specialist. You have to start calling yourself that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually taking the course to get that designation in January.
It's good.
So,
Steve, you could totally build that. You could totally build that out and become that guy, because there's nobody doing that here. I mean, nobody's doing what Levi's done, what Andy's done, like here in Colorado Springs. Most markets, they're just not. There's a lot of different people doing video, but they're all over the place. There's nothing that's just honed in on, and that's his thing. And like he mentioned, like put the city first, like in Orange Beach living, whatever, because if they're searching the city, that's going to come up. Over time, that's going to come up. And again, you'll probably learn all this in the book, I'm guessing, in terms of, the tags and the names and all that stuff. Yeah.
The book will actually teach you how to search for the best name for your channel when you get started. And you can rename a channel if you already have one. Yeah. I mean, it's you're going to drink out of a fire hose. So maybe it's better to listen to it fully and then go back and read it. But so I've been consuming this content for 9 months. And I'm only this far in, and I've got that much to go. But it's pretty cool.
How many YouTube channels can you have?
As many as you want.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't suggest having multiple channels unless there are multiple purposes. I would not do a channel for each small city in your area. I do the whole area, and then just do small cities and make that playlist. Jeff, what's the word?
Like a playlist or a subheading out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. As I create video and post everything over time, I'm going to put all my Crestwood videos in a Crestwood playlist, and Pewee Valley in a Pewee Valley, and Louisville in a Louisville, and so forth. And But
So if we're
it gives you a step by
specializing,
step.
sorry. So if
Go
you're
ahead.
specializing in the senior residential specialist, then you want the 55 and overs. If you're specializing in first time home buyers, if you know, agent attraction, that's 3 different YouTubes right there.
No, I would not do. Let's dive a little deeper on that. First of all, Steve, unless you only want to do seniors, don't call yourself the senior specialist because it's going to pigeonhole you for only that type of business, possibly. I think you can have a playlist for all the 55 and older communities in the area would be a better strategy than identifying as a senior specialist, because somebody that's not a senior is going to say, oh, I can't do business with Steve. He only helps old people.
Yeah.
But I do that as a playlist on your Colorado Springs channel.
I'm not sure I follow what you mean, but that's okay for now.
So-
I'm going to get, I'm ordering the book, and I may order the audio book as well. The audio book's only $9.95.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Tim, are you saying on the YouTube channel you could have different little groupings, whatever, 55 and above videos, new home buyer videos? In other words, there's just different along
Yeah.
one YouTube
Playlist.
channel.
The
Yeah.
playlist.
If that helps, Patricia.
And,
Yeah, your
and
channel
Patricia,
name.
yeah,
Thank
like
you. That's
that-
wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, y'all.
Yeah,
You're
and that's where Tim has an agent attraction channel, and he's got a sales channel. You know, because those are 2 separate
2 separate
deals.
people.
You know, buyers looking for homes in Colorado Springs couldn't care less about the fact that I'm attracting agents. Like
Yeah.
that does nothing for them. Like, you know what I mean? That would be 2 separate deals. Whatever.
Tim, what is your
If you're doing
agent
it.
attraction
Thank
channel
you.
on YouTube?
Tim Holland and EXP.
That's it. Okay. What do you do different on the selling side?
Louisville Homes Fast is the name
Gotcha.
of that channel.
Okay.
Can I ask Tim one last question on this? The $97 training, is it the same one that Andy paid $3,000 for?
Mm-mm.
Or are they 2 separate
Um,
deals? Was Andy's more in depth of over a period of
Andy's is more in
weeks?
depth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all video based. The training that Andy bought, it was all self study. I mean, it's probably 50 or 60 videos
Gotcha. Okay.
teaching you, chapter by chapter what you need to learn. The 12 hours, what I didn't like about the 12 hours is about the first 4 hours he spent convincing you why you needed to do video. So I could have skipped all that and joined in the afternoon session of day 1 and kind of gotten down to the meat. Now, I don't know if he's changed that since I took the class 2 months ago or not, but if you know very little about video, or if you want the background on, how you can turn that 30-minute video into, 20,000 views and your ROI on that is X dollars, then don't be discouraged by what I just said. Just sit there and suck it up, because there is value in it.
Sure.
But
So real quick, I had a conversation with one of his guys yesterday. And so what they're doing now is, yes, it's 24K. That's for 72 videos. That's for a year. That's almost a done for you system. They do want you to watch the training videos. The other program is 4K. This is if you're with EXP. The other program is 4K. They'll do 8 videos with that, but it's the self-guided. Did Tim just fall off? There's a self-guided. No. Oh, I see. There's a self-guided training. So you kind of learn it all yourself, but in that 4K, they'll do 8 videos for you. They'll edit them. They'll tag them, they'll SEO optimize them. I think they'll do all of that, but then from that day forward, you're using their training system to learn how to do future videos and doing all those things with them. So that's their 2 options that they have right now.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kathy. I didn't know about the $4,000 plan, so
Yeah.
good to know.
Cool.
All right, we're a little bit over.
Yeah, well, guys, thank you very much. It's always good to be on here. I forget what we have
This was
next
great,
Tuesday.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Patricia.
thanks, guys.
Appreciate you all being here. And, a lot of you guys are here every week. Keep spreading the word to other Freedom Team members that don't even know we're doing this. Just unplugged. Plug into these things. You will grow your business. 2024 is going to be a good year. I'm excited to get through the holidays here and kick things off. Tim, Sean, thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys, your input. Kathy,
Our
Well,
pleasure.
It's good
one
to see
last
everybody.
thing, let
Yeah.
me just say, and we make, since we're not gonna be masterminding next week, now to the end of the year, contact all your past clients. Get in touch with all your past people and just wish them happy holidays, you know, Merry Christmas. So get back in contact with them to start, you know, your relationship building with them, not just emailing, sending them cards, doing whatever. Pick up the phone between now and the end of the year and call all your people if you're not doing an in-person event with them.
Why
And
are
it
we not
really help
masterminding next
keep
Tuesday?
you, it'll help keep you top of mind going
Sorry.
into 2024. Sean, what were you saying?
I'm sorry, but you said we're not doing a mastermind next Tuesday?
No, we're doing a training. We're just not gonna be masterminding like this.
Not
Okay,
like
not an
this.
open
Yeah,
forum.
we'll have
Yeah.
a topic and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have a
next week.
specific topic. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to throw that out, you know, just, it's a good way, you know, and a good time just to be back in touch and start setting yourself up for first quarter next year.
Cool. All
All
right,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
everybody.
Appreciate it. Everybody
All right,
have a
thank you,
great week.
guys.
Call us,
Have a
reach
great
out
week.
to any of us. We're here to help you if you need it. Okay. We'll see you
Thanks.
Bye,
soon.
y'all.
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.